Good Shabbos. Did you miss me? No. Perfect. I will have announcements and a couple of presentations in just a minute, but I want to take a moment to speak to the families specifically that are here and to try to give a little pre-Passover family guidance. Passover is really the Jewish holiday that is most about our families and about our family life, and it's coming up just this week. And so I would ask you to think about the story of the Passover Exodus from a family perspective. What is it that every kid wants? Not an Xbox. Nope, not even money. They want freedom. It's the story of the Exodus. Just like the wicked stepmother, Pharaoh oppresses the Israelites and keeps them enslaved. Most of the parents cannot remember back that far to when you felt like you were being oppressed by your parents. But you probably felt that way at least once or twice. There's a reason why those fairy tales always have the parents as the bad guys. It's because from the child's perspective, we have all the cards. We have all the power. They are really subject to our discretion. And of course, that's true. It's good that it's true, but it's true, and it makes it no easier for the kids. I maintain that the stories of the Bible are not stories of history. They're not meant to teach us what happened way back when. They may contain much history in them, but that is not their purpose. Their purpose is to reflect us and our experiences. The story of the Israelites is the story of me and of you. It's an individual story. And so the story of the Exodus is about an individual birth and redemption. You could see it in your own family life as a story of birth. It could be about our birth. The Exodus is when I begin my consciousness, my own independent life, and I just start to crawl. I need God to feed me and take care of me in the desert. I'm still an infant in those early years. I need a lot of rules, not just a couple of rules, but a lot of them to make sure that I don't run out into the street and don't play with matches and, make it through what is essentially a very difficult wilderness. Well, maybe it's not quite birth in our early childhood. Maybe it's really more about an adolescence, that the story of the Exodus reflects those first moments when we taste independence as young people. And again, the parents amongst us know that even though when you're that age, when you're a teenager and you think you're beginning, you think you know, and you think you are able and capable, well, that is partly true, but it's also partly not true. The Israelites go through trial after trial, failure after failure. The Exodus from Egypt is a very rocky start. The entire duration of a generation in the desert, things don't always go how they're planned. Well, that sounds a lot like adolescence and like early adulthood, like an emerging out of our parents' narrow confines, what we perceive to be limiting to us, and into a broader, wilder expanse. Just this week, I took my son Zamir to his university orientation. That's an interesting experience. And he's ready. He's anxious, in fact, to be independent. We've had the conversation with him several times. We say, so are you excited to go to college? He's like, yes, I am. And I can feel it. And I'm not offended at all, because it's really not about us. It's not about that. And I remember my own experience of feeling ready, like I'm waiting on Seder night for the Exodus to happen, and I couldn't get to school quickly enough. But what happens to the Israelites when they go into the desert is not that everything works out perfectly fine and they all get great grades at college and everything is smooth and easy. Actually, what they find is that freedom and independence are fraught with failure and danger. For 400 years, the Israelites in Egypt were never once attacked by an enemy because they were protected by Pharaoh. But within days of leaving Egypt, they're attacked by Amalek in the desert. Because when you are free and when you are independent and when you are outside of your parents' control, there is nobody there to make sure that Amalek does not attack you. It turns out our independence, our capability, our freedom, our growth and development as young people, and even as parents, is a balance between our desire for independence and freedom and our recognition that that comes with consequences and with tremendous responsibility. This summer, in June, my son turns 18. It's very exciting for him. All kinds of things that you can do when you turn 18, including register for the Selective Service. So not everything about becoming an adult is great. He said to us the other day, he said, you know, when I'm 18, I can get my own dog if I want to. I said, that's true, you can. I said, and you will have the moral and legal responsibility to care for it. And, you know, then the smile sort of dissipated a little bit. He was just playing with us, and I was just playing with him. But the point was, nonetheless, when you are under somebody else's care and domain, as much as you might feel like that limits you and keeps you back and holds you back and is a restriction on your freedom and your ability, it's also a measure of protection and comfort and security. And our independence, our freedom, and this is true not just for kids, but for all of us. If we want to be free, if we want to have liberty, we have to be willing to face insecurity and danger. The cost of freedom is life in the midbar, in the wilderness, with enemies, with possibilities, with dangers and opportunities. For 1,500 years, our ancestors screwed up over and over and over again. The Exodus story is not the end and the successful pinnacle of Jewish history. It's the beginning of our collective history. And the subsequent history is exactly like my own early adulthood, and probably like most of the other people who are here, filled with failures, mistakes, disappointments, setbacks, and success, growth, life, and opportunity. To be free means to face the challenges of life. And the Exodus teaches us that there is no choice. We are destined to be free. And that comes with the consequence of being responsible to take care of ourselves and each other. With that in mind, I hope you have a joyful and celebratory Pesach. The first responsibility of Pesach is to celebrate. Okay? It's not about the rules, it's about the liberty and the celebration. May it be happy and joyful. Chag Sameach.